Hello world, welcome to another table talk video with Maris Free. I know last time I did not leave us with a topic that will be coming up next, but it is supposed to be on the light. And also, I apologize of the last video; it was really long. It was an hour, I think about an hour or so. But what it is that the video is divided into two. About the first 25 minutes or so, it's on the topic that I told you we're going to be talking about, which is the brighter dark in the dark. The brighter dark in the dark. I was so busy that day that I had to put up a video. And if you do really follow me up well with this, you understand that if you could watch it again, you could divide it into two and watch it for 25 minutes or so. And that's the first one of the topic, brighter dark in the dark. And the next one is on the shaded light. And hopefully you do comprehend what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to get. I'm used to technology and being on the video, but I have to get out this information. So it's so important for me, you, and the young growing up. Some silly talks that look silly, but in the future you may be looking for it. And whatever you grasp in it is what is really important and that matters to build on it. And for some, it's like a repetition, or to some, it's like what they already know, but contribution or addition to know that, hey, there is someone out there like me, someone like going the way that I'm thinking, seeking of good, and that this good that we're seeking is not just void and unnecessary. And for some, it's like a boost to wake up from the darker side, seeking for a brighter dark. And so we all trying to help each other, and it's what matters to be part of the right side. So you don't just be, because if you're stagnant, you're not helping. If you're going backward, you're not helping. You're trying to move forward, you're helping. Like an ocean, like I said last time, an ocean, it becomes chaos. If you're stagnant, you become a problem for those trying to go through. They can stumble on you. They could want to go by and there they go, you know, bumping themselves on you, and you become they're trying to go over you and slow and all that. So you want to be in the mood of moving towards the current of right so that everyone can go smoothly. We want to have a smooth traveling back to moral good alone or evil of turning. So will be no conflict or collision or cause of any emissions or struggle in the journey. We don't want to contribute to any negativity. And even of those going backward, like confusion to some, not knowing which one is forward and which one is backward. So we want to really help each other so we can all really get right. I pray for no one is least. Just trying we all get us there, that even the last one to reach the finish line has reached the finish line. No matter how long it takes, at least seeing the others going ahead, they know which one is the way back to moral good alone, no evil of turning. So, looking at so far how much we have covered from the dark, seeking for the bright dark in the dark, and from the bright dark in the dark, seeking for the shaded light, and the shaded light, now we're looking forward into the light, which is the finish line of moral good alone, no evil of turning. I pray we all comprehend where I am right now of this journey, of the end of which we are. And this is how we're going to be able to progress whatever state that we are in, or whatever state you think you are in, should not limit you. That when even you see yourself in the dark and being able to see the light, you should be able to see, before you see the light, you should be able to see the brighter dark in the dark that you can lean onto without being, without feeling like without giving up on yourself. And that when you look onto the brighter dark, to support you. You know there is light, that you're looking forward to your goal, but you're holding, clinging onto the brighter dark to get brighter dark, to get that strength, that boost of continuing the journey, that boost that will make you feel like you're what, still to go forward in this journey. And that boost you look up to, the brighter dad you look up to, becomes like a father to you. Though like an elder is an elder sibling, because you know the light is the father. But because this one is the one holding you, you look unto them like a father. And when you get to be like them, you become the same, while those behind you are looking up to you like the father. And you now looking onto the shaded light, the father, while you are the brighter dark in the dark. And now those of the shaded light looking up to the father, the light, the father, the finish line. It's a journey of step by step. We have come from generations upon generations that we need to comprehend, not condemning our ancestors, knowing that they've been trying. It's been a struggle, and where they have placed us today, like being in the ocean, drowning, and pushing up the baby up above the water, is what it kind of looks like. To comprehend that even those wanting to drown and drown the baby is disorientation that will begin to come now into the mind of us of moral good alone, no evil of turning the finish line, seeing that some are still short in the mind, in a disorientation that needs to be rehabilitated. That we begin to see that hey, of the mind are two, the father up there are two. And so the father of good and the father that is short, not the bad father, please. The sick father is not a bad father. We all can tell of the physical. That when one of the parent is disabled, does not make them a parent or a bad parent, but us to support them, knowing the good that we know of, no evil of turning, and move on with good. Please, I plead that we begin to try to get to grasp how much hurt we have gotten from this other disabled side of us. We should be able to try to correct back to right of best of moral good alone, no evil of turning the finish line. Such that even when they're not comprehending, we still stay the worthy for them to be able to look up to get right. For we are not limiting anyone, and neither are we limited to progress of every stage where we are. That even when someone is able to go 10 miles ahead and come back 8 miles behind, should not make you give up on them, because we never die of the mind. The mind still lives on, because when the flesh tarries, such that when the flesh tarries, let me shut up my cell phone, I'm sorry, please. Such that when the flesh tarries, such that when the flesh tarries, the mind is still capable of moving on. Even if you do not believe in afterlife, like I told you, like I told us last time, whatever mind you leave behind, those behind look up to that mind. That if you were a strong, a brave, a smart, they look up to. And in school, they want to learn about you. You become a role model. And that's your character left behind. And that's the you that is left behind. And whoever tampers with it will, will leave behind another mind that is hard for others to comprehend, but you, that is not lost, because that will be on the other, their complication level. So never count your work not left right. You do your own part of leaving yourself behind the worthy for all to comprehend, and be able to have a role model worthy to look up to when times go hard, when things don't add up anymore the way they think it should. That sometimes some have been laughed at, to come to realize that hey, they were the ones that really we should have been following, and instead not laughing. It's time for us to begin to realize that we make mistakes, not to condemn ourselves. And even when we are crying or weeping or remorsing about the wrongs we have done, it is not the end of the world, and neither a need for us to condemn ourselves. but of us to be able, while crying, to be able to still move, to still seek for solution. And this is how we are traveling this road. We all weep because surely we must have sinned wrong, even if we've never done wrong. Must have seen someone doing wrong. We must have experienced wrong somehow or told about it, even if we have no sight, must have been told or have felt. However, you've come to know wrong is wrong. It's a short sight that we're trying to edify. I pray we please comprehend what moral good alone, not evil of turning the finish line is. To be able to detect even those bad that have been twisted in good, that even on what we call it's a problem. When we begin to look at some complications that we have of diseases, and then we begin to see that some people cry and laugh and they say it's part of depression, it's a sign of depression, and now we can differentiate between tears of joy and depression. It's time to begin to seek to know those triggers that we begin to that we misunderstand for what is right from wrong. We need to cease from the unworthy to the point of ceasing away from even the triggers, and that's the finish line. That is the true who we are, of no evil of turning before the complications that we begin to enable and understand of us of a sudden. That even when we say we had never existed before, this is just us, tells us something is not right. To comprehend this by understanding of someone who falls in bed and wake up and cannot remember who they are, tells us we must have come from somewhere to be able to have ancestors of lesser intelligence than us. And we know we are higher beings, should tell us that, hey, something is not adding up. That of generations now, we getting to be great physical. I'm talking about those that are limited of the outside realm of us. For some, for we have had dreams and have envisioned things, and some being able to tell us of being of a spirit world, or being able to go to some places that they don't even comprehend, for us to be like, hey, no one denied, fiction or no fiction, let's enable a lesson and make a blessing. That all we need is peace of no evil of turning. Whatever mind is behind any object, image, or every body out here, the mind is what we seek of peace. That even the plant will demand, hey, why are you breaking me apart? Let me go gracefully. To understand that, hey, man has stomach feeding. Can I have some food before I go to the ground in lamentation and hurt? And then we begin to see that, hey, is man really what being in this world? Is this world really of man? And then the plants being asked, hey, but you eat from the ground, and the ground also more, like we begin to see like everything is feeding from something. Like, what is this that is, and we know that crunching on someone, no one crunching on you. And then we begin to see that, hey, it's telling us that someone is intruded somewhere. Is this earth an intruder? What is going on? Is the mind, what is the ideology behind all this? You're not supposed to be hurting each other. So, but the mind able to feed from ideas without hurting it, like just the mind, or what is this other physical that we make that tarries? It's time for us to begin to comprehend that the stomach at the end of the road, does it exist or not? But if it exists, this is what it is. It tarries. So can it gracefully tarry while we learn to understand that hurting another to make the other happy is not what is worth? It's time for us to begin to comprehend what hurting is and what is healing. To understand that we are seeking for good alone, no evil of turning, and neither any triggers. And that's the Father, and that's the finish line you're looking up to. To see that, looking at the stages that I did put before us are four stages of the dark, the brighter dark in the dark, the shaded light, and the light. These four stages, all worthy. to see that the dark looking up to the brighter dark like the Father, and of the brighter dark looking up to the shaded light like the Father. And the advance you get and of knowledge, you become greater and better. You begin to see that you get to the finish line of the Father, who is the light, of no evil of turning the finish line we seek. It's a journey worthy and gracefully must it be, knowing that the least harm possible to zero is what we seek. And then we begin to differentiate between what is really good from evil. Thanks to education and school that has enabled us to understand of what is ethical, even of its own limitation, we begin to grow from there. Every seed that is enabled has good in it, and that good has to grow no matter how little it is. Of the last example that I gave us of one killing everyone and that has this have this laughter of ha 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 ha, and when even without them killing, just hearing the laughter, you want to hide. Have we watched movies and understood this? Fiction or no fiction? Let's enable a lesson, and the lesson be a blessing for us, for the mind to heal right, so that this battlefield up here of the mind can peace still the storm in it. I pray we begin to comprehend. Please, I plead that when we begin to emit and dysfunction the physical that we have to learn from, we lose. Because of the mind, we stay chaos. Let's begin to see the physical that we have like books too, of the schools that we go, of the books that we have. It's either you study the books or not. And if you don't study the books, you lose. Or you study the books and win, but the books will not be there forever. The books get ruined, and if you have it with you and it becomes unusable and ripped apart, you lose it without even comprehending. It's like the flesh we have upon on us. I plead we begin to understand. I know to this, like I said, what I'm saying is like repetition to some. To some is like new to them, for them to come to comprehend at the end that hey, it wasn't really new, but now I begin to comprehend that I should have known this. It's like a memory, like you remember. I will not deny your dignity from you, but how you receive it will matter. If you want to take it like aggressiveness or arrogant pride, there will be a problem right there. It means you're still sick and short of the understanding that we are seeking of moral good alone, no evil of turning. Let us seek it of humble pride, and that is who we are. If we really know the finish line of no evil of turning, it's time to go back to the basic of us. The anxiety that has caused all this chaos of us, of who are we, who am I, where am I from, I can't remember. We can tell even of the patients in the hospital, of those getting out of a shock or being unable to identify themselves, of after a while being shown even their name, and then they begin to be like, oh yes, I remember now. We are here to edify each other, not to teach each other whatever you call teaching. Some may emphasize, no, you're teaching me. Because I don't know this. That's fine. But you don't be surprised when you get to the place where you begin to understand, hey, this was not teaching, this was remembrance, and I'm grateful and I appreciate you. I appreciate all we've been able to try to keep accord with showing the light so that I can remember that, hey, I'm light, not dark. When you begin to see yourself dark, 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 and then when you begin to see a light, and then you keep looking at it until the point where you begin to understand, like, hey, I kind of now relate with this light, even though I wasn't, even though I was scared of the light, but the light is kind of making sense to me after a while that this is who I am. You know, we give time for everyone to heal right. But the thing is, we cannot be enabling affliction to enable healing. A storm cannot heal a storm. We need to seek the Father of every stage that we are, knowing that dark looks up to the brighter dark like Father and continues to the end of the finish line we seek. That even of the physical, we have known Father to be the one, the head of the house. Like of the other story that I told us about a child waking up and calling the thing to the point where the child wakes up and realize, hey, your brother, not father. Where is father? And now even of hearing of a virgin birth, like one according with the spirit realm to have a child. And it's like, oh, if something should happen like that, surely many have been happening like that, and we don't even know that. Nothing is new under the sun. But what matters is the mind, is the mind, is the mind. Does not matter how you think you came to this world. If you some even think they are trees, some even think they can become trees whenever they want to. Some think they are oceans, and they have to return back to the ocean when it's like a tradition or something, and have to return back and do what they have to do and all that. But at the end of the road, what really matters is the mind. Let's start with the mind of us. Then we can get to the place where we comprehend, hey, we are a one of no evil of turning. All these physical beings we're making, is it really what? Let us go back to the mind of moral good alone, no evil of turning the finish line we seek. No need of chaos, of a storm of the mind that is radical and like an ocean in there, and of waves and of all sort of chaos, making all decisions of what I want to be, of terribles, and and now we can't even comprehend each other, trying to overcome each other, arrogant pride, anxiety, and this anger that is coming out, looking like arrogant, trying to be above each other, trying to show each other of how much greater they are than others. In the drunk, it's going deep down. We are falling apart, thinking we are getting better, like drinking alcohol and getting addicted. Some would not want to understand until they get to the place of karma, as silence, of you wonder how much a great power becomes just forgotten, of someone that has been everywhere and all of a sudden they don't hear about it no more. And we begin to see that, hey, everything that goes up comes down is what they say, of which those of better mind will say all things that go all the way deep down will come back up. You know what I mean? Everything that goes all the way deep down will come back up. That is what it is. Sometimes you're seeing your own down looking as if it's up. You look at it thinking it's like it's up. It's of your mind that you will know which one now is really the deep and which one is the higher, knowing that moral good alone, no evil of turning is the higher. I pray we begin to understand our journey of moral good alone, no evil of turning, who the Father is, of the highest of highest we are seeking. That even when you call this one here Father, you know this is not the end of it. When you begin to when you begin to look at them, examine them and see that, hey, they're short of this and that, because I know Father has no evil of turning. This is not looking right. That even the one that is so clean and perfect, but has but have a tear of joy. You know, hey, these tears are not supposed to be there. No matter how good you are, these tears are not supposed to be there, because we know of diseases that are like depression, where you laugh at the same time that you're crying, and they say it's a characteristic of a disease that can become something else, and you start exploding everywhere and hurting people. It's time we begin to comprehend the physical into the spirit, which is the mind, and the other spirit that we call of the images that we see of the visions and different from the physical beings that we are. At the end of the road, we all realize that they all have a mind, how they behave of good or bad. And the bad, we know bad is sickness and not a condemning. That it comes to a place where we begin to see that no one is wrong, but of some short, some short of getting to the right at the right time, but of prolongation and complications on the way, not necessary. That at the end of the road, you will make the delayance of us being able to reach that place of joy. When we all get there, we are left with a regret of why prolonging the success to be on time, like of a team. If you all play a game and in the game you are the one that has caused all the penalties and all the red cards and all that, and then at the end when you get the trophy, you're the only one not happy, not really happy, even though everyone is happy. Your happiness is short from the others. Doesn't mean that anyone hates you, but you cause your own shortness. And but now it's onto the others to keep on lullabying you out of it. And gracefully is gonna get out. Gracefully is gonna heal. But the point is you will suffer a different kind of suffering from the others. That is more hurting. Is that the hell Revelation is talking about? Is that the hell Revelation is talking about? I pray we make it deep and nothing else than that. Of this that we keep digging, we can change a story back to what is worthy. The Father we seek, the light. I pray we've seen the four stages that are really worthy of this journey that we're making. That when someone says, my God, I'm talking to my God, I'm talking to my God, we begin to, all what we need to seek is, okay, how far is this God better than, we need to examine and make sure that we are all helping each other, not to condemn them, but to edify, to edify. We all work together. That the shaded light have to look onto the brighter dark to make sure they're doing the right thing with the darker, with the one in the dark, not to get darker in the dark, making sure that the one in the dark is able to do the right from the brighter dark. That is how we look after each other, not condemning. Please, I'm talking because we come from cultures and now of religions. Of we can be of one culture, but of so many religions, and it's in a one house of a family with different religions and different cultures. It's becoming a difficulty to get everyone in place to understand that, hey, what we have to be looking at is the characteristics that are coming out of this individual, of what ideology is behind their religion or culture, that the mind, what is it bringing out? Because there's good in every mind. There is good in every mind, that even those that call themselves satanism, and we are like, get out of my sight. No, we need to see what are they addressing. The darker side of us that we are trying to pretend like we don't have it is a problem. You can't pretend you don't have a diagnosis. But them being able to enable this diagnosis for us to see, it's not them to stay with the diagnosis, but be able to be healing. Is what we need to help each other with, and not condemning them. How do you call yourself a disease when the disease is what we all carry? Are they being a picture? Are some supposed to be pigs for us to know that there's a pigsty that we're in, and that the mind also is a pig with a mess going on and needs to clean up? It's time for us to begin to comprehend that some making themselves trees and pigs, not, even if they're mimicking the others that are really pigs and all that, and of whatever that it is, I pray we begin to heal so that all of them can heal. Your father going down to crawl the baby to show the baby that, hey, I had crawled too. Does not mean that the father's gonna stay crawling, but try to stand up and the baby's gonna follow. Because if everyone is standing up and the baby is crawling, maybe they think that's where I am. But when you crawl and able to stand back up and the baby sees you bending down and standing up, the baby understands that, hey, so I can from this stage get up. We need to try to understand each other from whatever level that they are. Not that we should drink the alcohol that they're drinking to enable them to show them how to get no. But by seeing the alcohol is enough of drinking to understand that we can tell them that you can heal by getting better. And of every level that we are, we begin to see that some have tasted, some have tipsy, some are, from every level that we are, we grow. From addictive can learn from one tipsy to become sober. And the ones, what I pray we understand what I'm saying, because I did say that in the other previous videos for us to comprehend. Please, I pray we begin to understand that is of the mind, that we heal, to understand that we cannot be keeping up with some things that are not worthy. And if the physical is hurting, why bringing an innocent soul into it? Why would I get my ruined clothes and give it to an innocent baby to wear that is hurting? But of the mind we are, can grow right. We are the mind. The body we carry only a uniform, only a clothing to protect us while of the best it is. And now that it's getting real, gracefully should it return, but us returning back home of moral good alone, no evil of turning. That is our home that we are seeking. That whatever level we leave our mind behind should be of better. I pray we heal to understand each other. And when I say that, when whatever your father gives you, you should be careful with it. What I'm saying is, I say when whatever your father gives you, you should receive it. I'm not saying that if your father wants to kill you, you should receive the killing. No, what I'm saying is, what your father presents before you. If you come into the world and realize your father is a killer, that's a diagnosis. You can't change it. It's a receiving. You can't deny it. You can't condemn him. What do? You be a better of him. You cannot condemn your father. You be a better of him. Not that you stay there and let him kill you. You be a better of him. You not letting him kill you is a better of him. That you're enabling, that him not being able to kill you is not adding another sin on him. Not you giving yourself for him to kill you. And then when he kills you, he adds more sin on himself. You giving yourself for him to kill you is sin. And to the point where even if you didn't give yourself to him and he kills you, he adds a sin on himself. Because the physical is not us, it's the mind. And that is why you don't condemn no one. Even when they're hurting, you try not to condemn them. I know it's not easy. I struggle, but I tell you, your struggling and trying to be is a better side of you. You trying not to be that bad side of condemning, even though you want to say, and then, your struggle shows that you are in denial. Don't be in alcohol. It's not right. It's all I'm trying to say. And you not being in accord is healing others. And you look the brighter light, the brighter dark to those in the dark. Do not accord with what is not right. Of best, keep on trying. That even when you were 5 and you become 4, it matters. Even if you become 4.5, I tell you, it matters. It matters. Let's start seeing the little progresses that we make. I plead. Even just thinking about, I want to be better, it matters. Please. It's the father to the other side of you that was worst. You keep seeking and going ahead. Knowing that that's not the end of the Father, it's a continuation to the finish line of no evil obtaining. No triggers at all should be enabled at the finish line. And that's the Father that we are seeking of no evil obtaining. So that the atheist should not be thrown away. Because when the atheists say, I do not have a father, it's a problem. We need to raise our eyebrows like, what is going on? We all should belong. Are we twisting the Father? Are we making chaos? Are we losing our minds because of each other stepping on each other? And now we are losing how to represent the Father, and some not able to trace the Father in us. It's time for us to really sit and think. Please, let's heal. Let's begin to see each other important because we all make this ocean. And when one starts going the other way, and it's gonna be a sea growing, I tell you before you know it, it's a chaos and the ocean, not in the same current. It becomes something else. Let's begin to see the reality of where we are going. What is growing is not looking right. Please, higher beings, royalties we are, please, please hearken to the lullaby. I pray that those able to hearken to the lullaby will all join others to be able to plead with others, to hurt, to get back right. We all, short in one way or the other, anxiety, healing, or sadness, all are a struggle we need to heal from. All are diseases. We need to acknowledge we all have a diagnosis. We all have a diagnosis of a struggle. I'm sad. Even if they say I've never done wrong, I'm seeing someone doing wrong and I don't like it. It's already a wrong. It's whatever we call wrong. Wrong is the diagnosis. To see at the end that what we call wrong is not really wrong, but short of enabling getting to the right on time. But yet we must make it. We must make it because we seek school, we seek the ethical side, even though we're still because we haven't sat down together on the table and talk. Let's talk. Let's have a table talk so we can all try to relate somewhere with the basic of us. Then we can try to point out that we are the mind and not the physical. Let's try to comprehend that, and that will help us to go really further in this journey of moral good alone, not even of turning. We are the mind. What is flesh? A clothing. Important. Tarries. Before it tarries, it should be better. Thank you all for watching today. I pray you all have a good time after this to sit back and reflect on what we have had today on this table. Stay blessed. Hopefully, the next video will be coming up, and it should be on religion and culture, our beliefs, how we relate to each other, from the physical to the mind. We turn back to correct ourselves of the basic that we are: peace, of no evil obtaining. Peace steals the storm. Thank you for watching.